We are about to go through a very active weather pattern as we go into early February with multiple chances for winter storms with heavy snow, sleet, freezing rain, and also heavy rain and severe weather. So we're going to be walking you through the forecast here and everything that you can expect through the middle of February in this forecast. So if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. We're almost to 122,000 subscribers here on this channel, and I would love to get there by the end of the day. You can help me get there by subscribing and also liking the video. Give it a thumbs up, share this video with friends, family, and on social media. I definitely appreciate it. Let's look here at our temperatures first and foremost this afternoon. Here are your highs across the western United States. In the lower elevations is where the warmer air will be out west. Into the 40s and 50s we go. Higher elevations will be into the teens, 20s, and the 30s. And you can see as we go into the central United States, we have near record high temperatures across parts of the Midwest, as we could be closing in on 60 degrees across parts of Iowa today, parts of Nebraska, even southern Minnesota, well into the 50s up here, 60s further to the south. And then looking at the eastern United States, the Arctic air still holding firm across Maine, portions of Vermont, New Hampshire, upstate New York. We're going to be seeing highs there in the single digits and teens, wind chills near or below zero. And then the Ohio Valley warming up today into the 40s and 50s. Same thing with the mid-Atlantic. And then down here across the southeast, 60s and 70s this afternoon. Let's look at our temperature trends going through the weekend. So here we go. Today we have near record high temperatures, possibly even a few record highs across the Midwest today. Then as we go into tomorrow on Friday, those record highs, or at least near record high temperatures, will be across the mid-Atlantic. You see we're continuing to pump in Pacific mild air across the west, and that will continue as we go through the weekend. Another surge of warmth across the heartland, that is in the Central Plains on Saturday. Then as we go into Sunday, notice how that stretches from the plains up toward the Great Lakes. Another warm period for places like Chicago, St. Louis, Kansas City, and even all the way down into Tulsa, Oklahoma City, and Amarillo as we go through Sunday. Let's look here at our severe weather chances. We got a big system that is moving into the country, and this could bring more severe weather as we go through today. The Storm Prediction Center's Day 1 outlook does have a level 1 and level 2 of risk for severe weather respectively. Level 1 out of 5, marginal risk in the dark green, stretching from Memphis all the way back to Houston and New Orleans. And then into the yellow, that's a level 2 out of 5, slight risk from areas of Jackson, Mississippi into western Mississippi like Natchez up to Greenville. And then into Louisiana, into the Monroe area, all the way down into Alexandria, Lake Charles, and near Shreveport. Looking at the potential for severe weather, looks like the wind is going to be one of the main modes of severe weather, up to 60 mile per hour winds across those areas, especially in yellow. We're not looking at much of a hail risk. Hail risk is less than 5%. And then looking at the tornado risk in the dark green, we have a 2% chance of a tornado within a 25-mile radius of Memphis, Shreveport, Houston, into New Orleans. And then looking at the dark brown shaded color from Jackson, Mississippi into areas of Louisiana near Monroe, Alexandria, and Lake Charles, that is a 5% chance of a tornado within a 25-mile radius. So let's look at what we could see as we go through the afternoon. We already have some heavy showers and thunderstorms pushing through portions of Arkansas, downstate Missouri and Illinois, into western Kentucky, western Tennessee, and then we got the stronger thunderstorms tailing down further to the south across eastern Texas and into western Louisiana. Those will continue to march east as we go through the evening, and notice it's going to march east as a squall line, maybe a few thunderstorms out ahead of the main line. Those would be the ones to pose the risk for the most tornado potential. And then as we go into the overnight hours, that squall line will get into Mississippi, so Jackson, Mississippi, probably waking up around midnight with those noisy thunderstorms. And then as we go into daybreak on Friday, a lot of those will be pushing into Alabama, into Mississippi, and Louisiana, and they'll be on a weakening trend early Friday morning. Now, we do have a chance of severe weather on Friday. It's not as much as today, but there still is a chance. In the dark green, that's a level 1 out of 5 marginal risk on the Storm Prediction Center's Day 2 outlook from Montgomery, Alabama, down to Mobile, and then eastward there into southwestern Georgia, but also the northwest Florida Panhandle, and as far east as Tallahassee, Florida as well. All modes of severe weather are in play as well tomorrow. Main modes will be 60-mile-per-hour winds, quarter-size hail, but a brief tornado or two may be possible in some of these areas in dark green. In addition to the severe weather threat, we are going to be talking about some pretty heavy rainfall with this system. We already seen quite a bit of rain into portions of North Texas, southeastern Oklahoma, a lot more of that across Arkansas today. That'll push up toward areas of Kentucky into Tennessee. Could be seeing an additional 1 to 3 inches, and this is on top of what we've already seen. And then you look at the eastern view, a lot of that will be pushing into West Virginia, southern Ohio, Virginia, and even portions there of Maryland as we go in through the Friday night time frame on the order of a ½ inch to upwards to 1.5 inches in those areas. So some pretty heavy rainfall, and that could yield some flash flooding risk. We do have a flood watch that continues to remain in place all as far north and east as southwestern Pennsylvania, Western Maryland, and down the Appalachians in West Virginia, but also here from southern portions of Indiana, western Kentucky, all the way back to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. In the red here, those are flash flood warnings as we already have ongoing flooding. And looking at the areas at risk today, there are a risk in the green, but especially the yellow shaded color for some scattered flash flood events from northeast Texas, stretching all the way to central Kentucky there today. Then as we go into Friday, there's a slight risk for flash flooding there at the higher terrain across portions of West Virginia, keeping an eye on that. As far as snowfall is concerned, not a lot of cold air to work with this system, so snowfall will be few and far between, but definitely could be seeing some lighter snow up there into the portions of Maine, upstate New York, places like that. Otherwise, the Pacific Northwest could be seeing some snow in the Cascades and in the Rockies there in Idaho as well. Let's look at the weather pattern as we go through the weekend, but also into the first week of February. This takes you from Saturday, February 1st through Saturday, February 8th. Notice the cold air really bottled up to the north. The cold air is in the blue, green, and purples. The warmer air is in the yellow, oranges, and the reds. And notice how a lot of that is warmer air in the United States. And the weather pattern is going to remain a little bit kind of volatile as we go through the first week of February. We're going to have a lot of ups and downs preceding these systems. We're going to have warmer air, so a lot more rain than snow, but there will be cold air coming in on the backside. It's not going to be potent cold air, but enough to potentially turn that back end of precipitation from rain into snow at times. So going into the weekend, here comes another big storm across the Pacific Northwest that is going to be bringing some heavy snow, Cascades, northern Sierras, very heavy rain, I want to note, across northern California. Notice it's just an atmospheric river at this point, just a fire hose of moisture. This is Sunday, February 2nd, going into Monday, February 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, the 8th, and we continue to just see moisture here. But notice downstream here, we actually see a couple of winter storms moving across the Midwest in the Ohio Valley, and notice the snow line is quite a bit further to the north than we've seen it this winter thus far, but there could be some snow further to the north. We'll keep an eye on that. Maybe even more heavy rain and severe weather down into the Gulf Coast states as well later in that first week of February. And concerning the West, yes, Northern California could get dumped on with very heavy rain. We could be seeing double-digit rainfall totals here in a large area, widespread across northern California, even southern Oregon seeing some very heavy rainfall, and that'll extend maybe even into central California. We could be seeing rainfall on totals of 10 to even as much as 20 inches in some areas. The 20 inches will be more isolated, but then looking at the snowfall, yeah, a lot of snowfall for the Sierras, the Cascades there into southern Oregon, even into central Idaho there, western Wyoming, western Montana, down into Utah, Colorado. A lot of areas here winning out with a lot of heavy snow, so the ski resorts will love it. We'll be seeing feet of snow as much as 80 inches in some of these areas, especially across southern Oregon and into the Sierras of California. Now looking downstream, as these systems move onto the west coast, obviously they're going to be pushing east, and we're going to be seeing more moisture over here in the Ohio Valley, southeast, and the northeast. This could bring us around 1 inch of rain on average across these areas going through the end of the first week of February. The snow line going to be very far north. We told you how the colder air is locked up to the north across the northern U.S. and southern Canada. That means we could be seeing maybe a few inches of snow up here in the parts of the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, maybe mostly the northern Ohio Valley into the Great Lakes and the Northeast. Otherwise, that snow track will be well to the north in southern Canada. Now, let's talk about the changes. As we go into the second week of February, I promise you winter is not over. Colder air will be coming a little bit further south into the second week of February. We're talking about February 9th through the 15th time frame. We have that ridge across the southeast. Yes, it's going to be mild out here from the I-95 corridor, from Maine all the way down to Florida as well. And then we have the colder air on the backside from the plains westward toward the Pacific Northwest and southwestern Canada. Let's look at what we call the MJO, the Madeline-Julian Oscillation, because this tells the story, at least a part of the story, as we are currently in phase 4. Now, the active phases are especially phase 6, 7, and 8. And right now, it is forecast by that second week of February, we're going to be in phase 6 heading in toward phase 7. So an active phase of the Madden-Julian Oscillation, the MJO. So that means we're going to start to see more of an active jet stream, an active storm track, and that would bring some more winter storms and some major winter storms with heavy snow, an ice storm threat, and more severe weather to the picture as we have that active weather pattern downstream. So notice this is a classic weak La Nina look here with the above normal rains across the Ohio Valley into the Mid-Atlantic and up the I-95 corridor. Drier a little bit there into California a little after that atmospheric river in the second week of February, a little bit drier down here toward Florida as well. And then looking at the colder air, it's going to push that snow line a little bit further south. So where you see the grays, where you see these blues and purples, that's where the probabilities are higher. The probability is highest in the blues and purples, but even in the grays, a low to medium chance for some snow, and definitely seeing that potential into the second week of February. Hey, if you want to follow along with my detailed, accurate weather forecast right here on Weather on the Go, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We'll keep you covered. Make sure to like the video, give it a thumbs up, and also share this video with friends, family, and on social media. We got you covered with multiple winter storms still coming. Winter is not over, and we'll be having another video on this evening, so make sure to subscribe to the channel, share this video, like it. I definitely appreciate it, and I'll see you all this evening.